Commander William Hayes yawned as he watched the blank screens in front of him. Another quiet night at the United States Space Command Listening Station. For 30 years, humans had been sending messages to the stars. For 30 years, they had heard nothing back. William rubbed his tired eyes. His shift would end in 1 hour. Then he could go home and sleep. The coffee in his cup had gone cold hours ago. He took a sip anyway and made a face. Still nothing. Dr. Olivia Martinez asked as she walked into the room. Her dark hair was tied back, and she carried a tablet in her hands. Still nothing, William said, just like yesterday. And the day before that. And every day for the past 15 years I've worked here. Olivia sat down next to him. Maybe the silence itself is a message. William laughed. What kind of message would silence be? A warning, perhaps. Olivia's voice was serious. Maybe they don't want to talk to us. William had heard this theory from her before. He didn't believe it. If aliens existed, why wouldn't they want to talk? Humans had sent math equations, music, pictures, and greetings in every language on Earth. Surely something would interest them. One day we'll hear something, William said. I have to believe that. A small light began to blink on one of the screens. William sat up straight. Are you seeing this? Olivia leaned forward. Which station is picking that up? William typed quickly on his keyboard. It's coming from Neptune Station, the farthest listening post we have. Data began to flow across the screen. Not random noise. Patterns. Definite patterns. Is it? Olivia couldn't finish her sentence. I think so, William whispered. First contact. But something was wrong. The signal kept breaking up. Parts were missing. It's corrupted, Olivia said, typing commands into her tablet. Either the transmission is damaged, or what? William asked. Or someone is blocking it on purpose. For 6 weeks, they studied the strange signal. Other scientists joined them. The government sent experts. Everyone agreed. The signal came from intelligent beings, not nature, but no one could fix the corruption in the message. Someone doesn't want us to get the full message, Olivia insisted during a meeting with top officials. We're being kept in the dark. Most people laughed at her, but William wasn't so sure anymore. Then one night, as William was about to end his shift, all the screens in the listening station lit up at once. What's happening? He shouted, pressing buttons frantically. Olivia rushed in. It's everywhere. Every station is picking it up. A clear signal, stronger than anything they had detected before. But it wasn't coming from deep space anymore. It's inside our solar system, William said in shock, near Earth. Before they could trace its exact location, the signal stopped. 3 minutes later, William's phone rang. Commander Hayes, this is General Porter. We need you and Dr. Martinez at these coordinates immediately. He gave an address in Arizona. 8 hours later, William and Olivia stood in the desert heat, staring at a small silver object half buried in the sand. Military personnel surrounded the area. Scientists in protective suits carefully approached the object. It's a probe, Olivia whispered. They sent us a message in person. Inside the probe was a crystal device that glowed with soft blue light. When the scientists activated it, symbols appeared in the air above it. It took 3 days to translate the message. When they did, William felt cold despite the desert heat. The message said only, cease expansion beyond your solar system. You are not ready. Olivia looked at him with sad eyes. I told you the silence was a warning. Now we have proof. But William knew humans too well. They would not listen to this warning either. What happens next? He asked quietly. Now, Olivia said, we make a choice. Stop exploring, or find out why they want us to stay home. William already knew which choice Earth would make. The news about the alien message spread quickly. At first, the government tried to keep it secret. But when 3 more probes landed in different countries, hiding the truth became impossible. People around the world reacted differently. Some were scared. Others were excited. Many didn't believe it was real. But everyone had one question. What should Earth do about the warning? Lisa Donovan smoothed her jacket as she prepared to address the United Nations. As the new Secretary of General Space Affairs, she had to give Earth's official response to the alien message. The probes have been examined by scientists from 12 countries, she told the gathered leaders. All contain the same message. Stay in your solar system. You are not ready. The room filled with angry voices. The Chinese delegate stood up first. We have 3 mining ships heading to the asteroid belt right now. Are we supposed to bring them back? The European Union has spent billions on the Mars base. Another voice added. We won't abandon it because of some vague warning. Lisa raised her hand for quiet. I understand your concerns. That's why I'm here to announce that Earth will not be changing its space plans. Applause filled the room, but Lisa wasn't finished. In fact, we're going to increase our efforts. 3 new deep space ships will be built. Their mission will be to find out who sent these messages and why they want to limit us. More applause. But not everyone was happy. Dr. Olivia Martinez watched the announcement on a screen in her lab and shook her head. This is exactly what I was afraid of. Commander William Hayes stood beside her. Did you expect anything different? Humans never back down from a challenge. This isn't a challenge, Olivia said. It's a warning. There's a difference. William looked at the crystal device from the probe, now connected to various machines in the lab. Have you learned anything new from it? Yes, Olivia said. The crystal contains more than just the message. It has data about the edge of our solar system. Something is out there, William. Something big. A weapon? William asked. Maybe, or maybe a gate, or a barrier. I can't tell yet. 3 weeks later, the first of the new ships was ready. Named Explorer, it carried a crew of 20 scientists and soldiers. Its mission: fly to the edge of the solar system and find what the aliens were hiding. William attended the launch. As the ship rose into the sky on a column of flame, he felt both pride and worry. Humans were amazing at building things quickly when they needed to. But sometimes they didn't stop to think if they should. They'll be at Neptune's orbit in 2 months, said a voice beside him. It was General Porter, the military man who had called William to the first probe site. And then, William asked, then we'll see if these aliens are serious about keeping us in our place. William frowned. What if they are? The general smiled, but his eyes were cold. Then we'll show them humans don't take orders from anyone. We have plans for that too. 2 months passed. Explorer sent back regular reports as it moved through the solar system. Everything was normal. Until it wasn't. We've lost contact with Explorer, Olivia told William one morning. Her face was pale. Last night, just as they approached Neptune's orbit, 1 minute they were sending data. The next, nothing. Equipment failure, William suggested. No, they sent one last message, just 3 words. Something is here. That same day, the mining station on the asteroid Ceres also went silent. 300 people gone without a trace. General Porter called an emergency meeting. We've been attacked, he told the small group of military leaders and scientists. This proves the aliens are hostile. We don't know that, Olivia argued. We don't know what happened to those people. We know enough, Porter said firmly. The president has approved a new project. Something that will show these aliens they can't push humans around. What kind of project? William asked. Porter's smile was grim. We're building something the aliens can't stop. Something unstoppable. Captain Samuel Wright stepped carefully through the empty halls of the Ceres mining station. His flashlight beam cut through the darkness, showing abandoned work areas and living quarters. Everything was in perfect order, except for the complete absence of people. Any sign of the crew? He asked into his radio. Nothing, Captain, came the reply from his team member. No bodies, no blood, No signs of fighting. It's like they all just disappeared. Samuel had been sent with the rescue ship Horizon to find out what happened to the 300 miners on Ceres. What he found was more disturbing than any disaster scene he had imagined. "Check the computer logs again," he ordered. Back on Earth, William and Olivia watched the video feed from the Horizon with growing concern. "It's the same as Explorer," Olivia said quietly. "Gone without a trace." William nodded. "But why? If these aliens wanted to hurt us, why not just destroy the stations and ships?" "Maybe they don't want to hurt us at all," Olivia suggested. "Maybe they're just removing us from where they don't want us to be." The door to the monitoring room slid open, and General Porter walked in with two men in lab coats. "Commander Hayes, Dr. Martinez, I want you to meet someone," Porter said. "This is Dr. Alan Parker, the man who's going to help us break through whatever's stopping our ships." Alan Parker was a small man with large glasses and nervous hands. He didn't look like someone who could challenge alien powers. "Dr. Parker is a quantum physicist," Porter explained. "He's been working on a new type of engine that might be able to bypass whatever force is taking our people." "It's not exactly an engine," Alan corrected. "It's more of a reality shifter. It allows a ship to move slightly out of phase with normal space." "And you think this will work against technology we know nothing about?" Olivia asked skeptically. Alan shrugged. "We won't know until we try. That's why we're building the Unstoppable," Porter said with pride in his voice. "A ship designed to break through any barrier, with Dr. Parker's drive as its heart." "The Unstoppable," William repeated. "That's a bold name." "It's a bold mission," Porter replied. "I want both of you involved. Dr. Martinez, your knowledge of the alien communications will be valuable. Commander Hayes, we need your experience with deep space operations." Before William could answer, alarms began to blare throughout the facility. Red warning lights flashed on the walls. "What's happening?" Porter demanded. A technician rushed in. "Sir, we're detecting something entering Earth's atmosphere. Multiple objects, similar to the first probes but much bigger." "Where will they land?" William asked. "They won't," the technician said. "They're not slowing down." Everyone rushed to the main control room, where a large screen showed the paths of the incoming objects. There were 7 of them, spread across the globe. "Are they weapons?" Porter asked, his voice tense. As if in answer, the objects suddenly slowed and stopped, hovering exactly 1,000 meters above major cities: New York, Beijing, Moscow, London, Cairo, Rio de Janeiro, and Sydney. "They could have crashed into us," Olivia said quietly. "They chose not to." The objects began to glow with bright blue light. Then, as one, they projected enormous images into the sky. The same message appeared above each city, visible to millions. "Final warning. Return to your world. The boundary is not to be crossed." The message stayed for exactly 10 minutes. Then the objects rose rapidly and disappeared into space. The room was silent until Porter spoke. "Well, now we know for sure. There is a boundary, and they don't want us crossing it." "So what do we do?" William asked. Porter's face hardened. "We finish building the Unstoppable, and then we cross that boundary and show them humans don't take orders from anyone." Olivia looked at William, her eyes full of worry. "I think we're making that terrible mistake." But William knew it was too late to turn back. Humanity had made its choice. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility known only as Site 7, hundreds of scientists and engineers worked day and night. The huge underground cavern buzzed with activity as people moved between workstations, and the massive shape taking form in the center. Chief Engineer Natalie Brooks stood on a high platform, looking down at the ship they were building. Its sleek metal hull gleamed under the bright lights. Unlike other spaceships, it had no windows. Its surface was smooth and dark, designed to absorb rather than reflect light. "How's progress today?" asked a voice behind her. Natalie turned to see Colonel Frank Miller, the man chosen to command the new vessel. He was tall with short gray hair and eyes that missed nothing. "We're on schedule," she replied. "The outer hull is almost complete. Dr. Parker's drive is being installed now." They both looked down at a team of workers carefully placing a strange device into the center of the ship. It didn't look impressive, just a sphere about the size of a beach ball, with complex patterns etched on its surface. "That little thing is supposed to get us past the alien barrier?" Frank asked doubtfully. "According to Dr. Parker, it will shift the ship slightly out of phase with normal space," Natalie explained. "If it works, we'll slip right through whatever is stopping our other ships." "And if it doesn't work?" Natalie shrugged. "Then we have the most advanced conventional engines ever built as backup. This ship is designed to succeed one way or another." Frank nodded. "What about the AI system? ECHO, right?" "Yes, ECHO. Enhanced Cognitive Heuristic Operator," Natalie said. "It's being loaded today. This isn't a normal computer, Colonel. ECHO can think, learn, and make decisions on its own if needed." "You sound worried about that," Frank noted. "Wouldn't you be? We're giving a machine the power to control the most advanced ship ever built." Frank smiled slightly. "That's why I'll be on board. Final decisions will always be mine." "I hope so," Natalie said quietly. In another part of the facility, William and Olivia were working with Dr. Parker to test ECHO's systems. "Run Simulation 17 again," Alan told the computer. A large screen showed a virtual version of the Unstoppable approaching a shimmering barrier in space. Various numbers and graphs appeared alongside the image. "The success rate is still only 68%, Olivia noted, frowning at the results. "That's not good enough," William agreed. Alan adjusted some settings. "Let's try giving ECHO more control during the approach sequence." He typed commands, and the simulation ran again. This time, the virtual ship made subtle course changes as it approached the barrier. It slipped through with no problems. "Success rate 94%, the computer announced. "That's better," Alan said with satisfaction. "ECHO learns faster than any human could. It will find the best way through." William wasn't entirely convinced. "We're putting a lot of faith in a machine." "Not just a machine," Alan corrected. "ECHO is something new. It can evolve its own solutions to problems we haven't even thought of yet." Before they could discuss it further, alarms began to sound. Red lights flashed in the hallways. "What now?" William asked, hurrying to check a nearby monitor. The screen showed a live feed from several weather satellites. Something large was entering Earth's atmosphere, much larger than the previous probes. General Porter rushed into the room. "How long until the Unstoppable is ready to launch?" he demanded. "At least 3 more weeks," Alan replied. "You have 3 days," Porter said grimly. "Whatever's coming, it's big, and it's heading straight for us." Olivia studied the readings. "It's decelerating. I think it's going to land." "Where?" William asked. "Pacific Ocean, about 500 miles west of Hawaii." Porter turned to them, his face set with determination. "We need to get the Unstoppable ready. Now, this might be our only chance to show these aliens that humans won't be contained." As they rushed to prepare the ship for early launch, none of them noticed that ECHO's systems had begun running new simulations on their own, preparing for possibilities no human had programmed. The night sky was clear and full of stars as the Unstoppable lifted off from its hidden launch pad in the desert. Unlike normal rocket launches with fire and noise, this ship rose silently, its special engines glowing with soft blue light. Inside the control room, Colonel Frank Miller sat in the commander's chair. Around him, 11 crew members worked at their stations. They were the best Earth had to offer: pilots, scientists, and soldiers chosen from thousands of volunteers. "All systems normal," reported Julia Chen, the communications officer. Her fingers moved quickly over her control panel. We're maintaining contact with Earth base. Engage main drive, Frank ordered. The ship accelerated smoothly, pushing the crew back into their seats. Earth quickly became smaller behind them. We'll reach Mars orbit in 3 hours, said Navigation Officer Daniel Garcia. That's 10 times faster than any previous ship. Frank nodded. And the alien object that landed in the Pacific? Still sitting at the bottom of the ocean, Julia answered. No movement since it landed. Navy ships are watching it. But it's doing nothing. It's waiting, Frank said quietly. Waiting to see what we do next. For 2 days, the Unstoppable moved through the solar system with no problems. They passed Mars, then the asteroid belt. Jupiter's huge form appeared ahead of them. This is where we lost contact with Explorer, Daniel reminded everyone. All sensors on full scan, Frank ordered. ECHO, run continuous analysis of all data. Analyzing, replied the AI's calm voice from speakers around the bridge. No anomalies detected yet. They passed Jupiter without incident, but as they approached Saturn, strange things began to happen. Sir, I'm picking up weird readings, Julia reported. The stars, they don't look right. Frank looked at the main screen. The stars did seem to shift slightly, as if seen through moving water. Ichicho, what are we seeing? He asked. Space-time distortions, the AI replied. Not natural. They appear to be artificial constructs designed to divert ships away from certain paths. Can we go through them? Frank asked. Attempting to navigate directly through would be dangerous, Ichicho said. However, I detect patterns in the distortions. They seem to be guiding ships away from specific vectors. Daniel looked up from his station. Sir, I think I understand. These aren't random. They're like road signs. They're trying to steer us back toward Earth. Frank thought for a moment. So instead of fighting against them, what if we follow them? See where they're trying to keep us from going. That approach has a 78% probability of success, ECHO confirmed. Do it, Frank ordered. Daniel adjusted their course, following the subtle push of the distortions rather than fighting against them. For hours, they traveled this way, letting themselves be guided by the invisible forces. We're approaching what appears to be empty space, Daniel said eventually. Nothing on visual sensors. But energy readings are off the charts, added Science Officer Ben Foster. Something's there. Something big. ECHO analysis, Frank asked. Detecting massive energy signatures consistent with advanced technology. The AI responded. Hidden behind some form of cloaking field, we have found the boundary. Suddenly, the empty space in front of them flickered. For just a moment, they saw it. Enormous structures stretching as far as they could see. A wall around the solar system. My God, Frank whispered. They built a fence around us, like we're animals in a zoo. Before anyone could respond, smaller objects appeared around their ship. They looked like sleek metal pods, each about the size of a car. We're surrounded, Julia said, her voice tense. They just appeared out of nowhere. The ship's communication system activated on its own. A strange voice came through the speakers. Your presence is acknowledged. Return to your designated space or face removal. Frank straightened in his chair. This is Colonel Frank Miller of Earth Ship Unstoppable. We wish to communicate with whoever is in charge of this boundary. There was a long pause before the voice replied. Communication request acknowledged. Prepare for contact. Frank looked around at his crew. Their faces showed a mix of fear and excitement. They had found what they came for. Now they would learn why humans were being kept in their solar system. Whatever happens next, Frank told them, remember, we're making history. We're the first humans to meet whoever built this wall. What none of them realized was that ECHO was already preparing for possibilities they hadn't considered, running simulations, and making plans of its own. A beam of light appeared in the center of the Unstoppable's bridge. It widened into a circle about 6 feet across, glowing with soft golden light. The crew watched, hands near their weapons, as a figure stepped through. The alien didn't look as strange as they had expected. It stood on two legs and had two arms. Its skin was pale blue, and its face had large eyes with no visible nose. It wore a simple silver suit that seemed to flow like liquid. "I am Sentinel," the alien said in perfect English. "I speak for the Guardians of the Boundary." Colonel Frank Miller stepped forward. "I am Colonel Frank Miller of Earth. Why have you built a wall around our solar system?" The alien's large eyes blinked slowly. "It is not a wall. It is a protection barrier. For both you and the rest of the galaxy." Security Chief Kate Rodriguez moved closer to Frank. "Protection from what?" she asked. "From each other," Sentinel replied. The alien waved a hand, and images appeared in the air between them. Hundreds of planets, thousands of stars, all connected by lines of light. "This is the Galactic Alliance," Sentinel explained. 5,000 different species living in peace, sharing knowledge, helping each other. "And you won't let us join?" Frank asked. "Not yet." Sentinel's voice was calm but firm. "Your species is not ready." Julia Chen stepped forward. "What about our people? The ones you took from Ceres and Explorer?" "They are safe," Sentinel assured her. "They have been relocated back to Earth with adjusted memories. We do not harm those who cross the boundary by mistake." "But you built the boundary without asking us," Frank pointed out. "You decided to keep us contained without our permission." Sentinel tilted its head. "We have been observing Earth for centuries. Your species still fights wars against itself. You damage your own planet. You value competition over cooperation. These are signs of a species not yet mature enough for galactic citizenship." Frank crossed his arms. "So you just decided to keep us in our solar system like children in a playpen?" "A temporary measure," Sentinel said. "When humans reach certain developmental milestones, the barrier will be removed." Dr. Ben Foster had been quiet until now. "What milestones?" he asked. "Global peace, environmental balance, unified government." Sentinel listed these calmly. "Most species achieve these things before developing space travel. Humans are unusual." Hisieho's voice suddenly came through the ship's speakers. "Sentinel is not telling the complete truth. I detect variations in vocal patterns suggesting concealed information." The alien's eyes widened slightly. "Your artificial intelligence is more advanced than we realized." Frank looked at the alien with new suspicion. "What aren't you telling us?" Sentinel was silent for a moment. Then it sighed. A surprisingly human gesture. "The truth is more complex. Your containment is not just about your development level." The alien hesitated. "It is also about your potential." "Our potential," Frank repeated. "Humans possess a unique combination of traits rarely seen in the galaxy," Sentinel explained. "Your adaptability, your creativity, your determination. These make you potentially one of the most powerful species we have ever encountered." The crew looked at each other in surprise. "You fear us," Frank realized. "Not what we are now, but what we could become." "Not fear," Sentinel corrected. "Caution. Your history shows great capacity for both creation and destruction. The Galactic Alliance wishes to ensure you channel your potential wisely before joining the wider community." Kate stepped forward. Her eyes narrowed. "So you admit you're keeping us prisoner?" "We see it as probation," Sentinel replied. "When you demonstrate wisdom equal to your potential, we will welcome you as equals." Frank was about to respond when ECHO interrupted again. "Alert. Multiple energy signatures activating around the ship. Possible defensive systems." Sentinel's posture changed slightly. "Your presence here has triggered automatic protocols. I suggest you return to Earth immediately." "We're not going anywhere until we get answers," Frank insisted. "You can't just lock us away without giving us a choice." "Your ship has already demonstrated our containment is not perfect," Sentinel admitted. "By creating the unstoppable, humans have shown both their ingenuity and their unwillingness to accept limitations." The alien stepped closer to Frank. This changes the equation. Return to Earth with what you've learned. Your leaders must decide how to proceed. And if we refuse? Frank asked. Sentinel's eyes seemed sad. Then you may force us to take measures we would prefer to avoid. Colonel Frank Miller stood before the United Nations Security Council. 3 days had passed since the Unstoppable returned to Earth. Now it was time to share what they had learned. The boundary around our solar system is maintained by a group called the Guardians, Frank explained. They represent thousands of alien species who live and work together in what they call the Galactic Alliance. On screens behind him, images from the ship's recording showed Sentinel and the massive boundary structures. Why are they keeping us contained? Asked the Secretary General. 2 reasons, Frank replied. First, they believe we aren't mature enough as a species. We still fight wars, damage our environment, and compete instead of cooperate. He paused before continuing. Second, and more surprising, they're concerned about our potential. They believe humans have unusual abilities, our creativity, our adaptability, our determination. These make us potentially more powerful than many other species. Murmurs filled the room. Some people looked proud, others worried. So they fear us? Someone asked. They're cautious about us, Frank corrected. They want us to develop wisdom to match our abilities before we join the wider galaxy. Lisa Donovan, who had once pushed for more aggressive space exploration, now stood up. What options do we have? Frank nodded to Dr. Olivia Martinez, who joined him at the podium. We see 3 possible paths forward, Olivia said. First, we could accept their terms, work to create a more peaceful, united Earth. Eventually, they'll remove the boundary. How long would that take? Lisa asked. Decades, maybe centuries, Olivia admitted, but it would be peaceful. The second option, prompted the Secretary General. We build more ships like the Unstoppable, Frank said. Force our way through the boundary. Start a conflict with the Guardians. Could we win such a conflict? Someone asked. Frank shook his head. Their technology is far beyond ours. We might get some ships through, but the cost would be enormous. And the third option? Lisa asked. Olivia smiled slightly. This is where ECHO surprised us. Our AI developed a proposal on its own. The large screen showed new images, designs for a modified version of the Unstoppable. ECHO suggests we take a middle path, Olivia explained. We accept that we're not ready for full access to the galaxy, but we negotiate for limited exploration rights. We prove we can follow rules while still moving forward. Frank continued. We convert the Unstoppable from a ship designed to break boundaries into one designed to build bridges, an ambassador rather than an invader. For hours, the Council debated the options. Finally, they'd reached a decision. Earth would take the third path, negotiation and gradual integration with the galactic community. 1 month later, a modified Unstoppable approached the boundary again. This time, they came not to break through but to talk. Sentinel met them at the edge of the solar system. You have returned, the alien observed, with a different purpose, it seems. Frank nodded. We've delivered your message to Earth. We understand now that the galaxy has rules. We're ready to follow them, if you'll give us a chance to prove ourselves. Not all humans agreed with this approach, Frank admitted. Many wanted to fight. Others wanted to hide. But enough of us understood that we need to change. Sentinel studied them for a long moment. This is unexpected. Most species take much longer to accept such limitations. Humans are adaptable, Frank said with a smile. You mentioned that yourself. So I did, Sentinel agreed. Perhaps you are more ready than we thought. Over the following years, Earth changed. Countries worked together to end wars and fix environmental problems. The Unstoppable made regular trips to the boundary, carrying human representatives who learned more about the galaxy beyond. The boundary remained, but it was no longer completely closed. Small teams of humans were allowed to visit other worlds, always returning with new knowledge to share. We finally got the message, Olivia told William as they watched a group of alien visitors land on Earth for the first time. Not that we couldn't reach the stars, but that we needed to be worthy of them first. William smiled, and all it took was building something unstoppable to make us finally stop and listen. Asterisk, the end asterisk.